Do you love paper planners, but you lean digitally on some things? Today I'm sharing 5 digital additions that will work for any paper planner to optimize your planning process. And by the end of the video, you're going to feel calmer, more excited about the options that are available to you, and more decided on what you actually want for your planning system. A quick background on me. I got my first Franklin planner when I was 13 years old. I was super excited and I used it all through middle school and high school and into my first years of adulthood and motherhood. Then digital planning solutions started becoming the norm. I got my first iPhone, but I still love my paper planner, so I was trying to do everything with the paper. However, as I started needing to collaborate more with my husband and work with our team here at LearnDoBecome, then my paper planner just couldn't keep up. I was writing things all the time, over and over again, and I couldn't find things I needed as quickly as possible. Plus, most of my files and resources were all digital. So I was struggling, but I didn't want to say goodbye to my planner. So I figured out how to have the best of both worlds. A planner I can use every day and color on with all my markers, and digital solutions that help me to be more effective and efficient and make my life easier. Even if you are 100% digital, the ideas I'm sharing today will be helpful. But if you're one of the many people who love paper planners, bullet journals, or even just writing in blank notebooks, and you find that to be lovely and restorative, I think you're going to be really excited about what I'm sharing today. Number 1 is a digital calendar for appointments. Now, an optimal calendar has 2 parts. It has appointments, like where your body needs to be at a certain time, and it has flexible tasks. So I keep my appointments on my Google Calendar, and then I keep all of my flexible tasks for that day in my planner. We'll talk about flexible tasks in a moment, but first let's dive into using a digital calendar for appointments. Although paper calendars can be awesome for tracking appointments, for example, mine has a monthly calendar, and then my daily one also has a little daily schedule, there are at least 2 big advantages to going digital. The first advantage is you can easily reschedule without having to erase, cross out, etc. The second advantage is you can share your calendars with others. And you can easily search online how to do this if you haven't before. But for example, Eric and I share our calendars, and there's a toggle on, toggle off ability, which makes it so great. So I can see his or not, same vice versa. Plus you can create additional calendar layers to customize. For example, I have one layer of my calendar for private notes, like my friends' birthdays, that Eric doesn't need to see. And then I have my general layer, which shows all my appointments, so Eric knows when I'm available. I also share my son's calendar, so I can see his work schedule. And here at LearnDoBecome, we have multiple calendars, like a vacation calendar for the whole team, so we know who's traveling when or who's off when. We have a calendar for our live classes, etc. And again, those can be turned on and off as desired, so you don't need to be worried that you're going to have tons of calendars all at the same time. It does take a moment to set this up, but this makes it so much easier to coordinate with others. Sometimes I still use my paper calendar to just rewrite my appointments and tasks and kind of map out the order I want to do things, but it's my digital Google Calendar that tells me what I need to do and what has to be done that day. The second digital addition to any paper planner is what I call the digital task feeder. Now, I wasn't really sure what to call this at first because essentially it's how I know what tasks I need to do on a specific day. But I want to explain the problem it solves, and then I'll go a little deeper. The problem it solves is that when you use a paper planner, you might not have a space to write down something like, call about the job opening on May 28th. For example, with my daily planner, I only keep a few pages in at a time, so May's pages are like upstairs in my office. Or with something like a bullet journal, if you're in January right now, you likely haven't created your May pages yet. So then where do you write that task? And even if you do have the pages available, sometimes if you write something far into the future, then things change and then you're crossing out and rewriting, and that's not the fun part about having the paper planner. It really doesn't matter what digital tool you use, but if you have a way to type in a task and assign it a specific date in the future so it comes back to you, then you're all set and you can add that to your paper planner when appropriate. Now you could just go into your digital calendar and just create it as a flexible all-day task or something, and there's always new things coming up that you can use. But I currently use Asana, so I'll just show you how that works. Inside Asana, there's a little section called My Tasks. And so it sorts everything by due date. And all I do is I write down a little task that I need to do. I set it for the date. And then every morning, I just get a little email from Asana. And anything that specifically needs to happen that day that I can't just finish in 2 minutes or less, I go ahead and I put it into my planner. And you might think, well, that's a lot of rewriting or that's kind of complicated. The reason I love it is because when I go into Asana, a lot of things are pretty quick. I can just get it done. But I really do have time to think, is this a task that really matters? Is this where I want to put my time and energy? And I never forget things because it's just feeding it to me. I do want to make sure that you keep this list as short as possible. I don't put tons of stuff on here. I just want a few things coming to me so that I can remember, and according to my energy, my responsibilities, the circumstances, when I wrote the task, it might be now a totally different circumstance and I might need to renegotiate with myself, which is fine. But this way, I don't have to write a bunch of stuff in my planner and have tasks floating everywhere. I just have it in here and it feels great. One other little quick note with my planner is when I record my tasks that have to be done on a specific day, I like to organize this list by quiet time tasks, anytime at home tasks, and errands. That way it's easy for me to just approach it during the day and get things done pretty quickly. The third digital addition to any paper planner is what I call the digital routine feeder. So this is pretty much the same as the task feeder, except when I create the task inside Asana, I make it recurring, so I know it's going to come to me every time I need it. So I'll just give some examples. I have a section here called personal routines, and I have daily, weekly, monthly, etc. So I might have something like water the plants. I actually have this set up to come to me twice a week, and when I see it, I write it down on my list. The reason why is because I've killed so many plants, and ever since I've done this, all of our plants have survived. It's been amazing. So having that show up as a routine has been awesome. Another thing is we do a weekly newsletter here at LearnDoBecome, and I outline it once a week. Well, I don't want to forget to outline it, and it's not quite habit. If I've got a busy day, I might forget. So I have that set up as a weekly professional routine. It just comes to me saying, hey, today's the newsletter. So if I can do it in 2 minutes or less, and it's really quick, I just get it done. Otherwise, I put it in my planner, and that becomes something I make time for during my quiet time work. The fourth digital addition is a tiered projects list. I'll show you mine in a second, but essentially we want you to have a focused list for the month between 1 and 8 projects, and it's current for this month, in progress or waiting, next in line, and someday. What this does is it helps you focus on what's most important, and it keeps the next projects in queue essentially for you. What most people do, if you look at any paper planner or even digital planning tools, is they create task lists that are a big conglomeration of projects, routines, one-off tasks, just random stuff. And so it's really hard to know what to work on because it's all different types of items that or activities that need your attention. Having these as an external project list in a digital project manager has been a game changer because I can easily add, move around, I can include links or documents or pictures or anything that I need that's related to those projects. And it's so simple for me to prioritize or deprioritize or to add in new projects when I get new ideas. Just briefly, this is our LearnDoBecome team project home base, where you can see we have current, in progress, next in line, and below that is someday. We just have a few projects at a time that we're working on, but it makes it so simple. And so having this right here enables me to then decide what are the next actions that I need to do for those projects. I might end up using some of my planning pages in here to brainstorm things for the projects, but then I would take that information, either take a picture of it and upload it into the project management software, or I would just type out the details. So that way I can keep everything centralized instead of flipping through pages and trying to find all the stuff I need to do. And the fifth and final digital addition is next actions that are related to projects. When you're working on a project, it's really helpful to know all the steps that are going to go into it, at least as many as you know or that you can at least use to get started. And so we do recommend that you write out what's your project and what are the 2, 3, or 25 steps that are needed to get that done. If you write all of that inside of a paper planner though, then when you're trying to work on that project, you're trying to flip back to where the details were and then remembering when to get it done and which ones do I add to my to-do list and how do I do all that. So instead, we keep those inside of our project management software, and I'll show you an example. We have a project called Step Momentum. It's a really fun 4-week accountability group that we run occasionally here at LearnDoBecome. So we have a template for when we do the program, and we've got all the next actions laid out. So we have things we need to get done before Step Momentum, and then things that we do after we start. And because we've done it before, now it's a system, all we have to do is duplicate this, and now the project has all the steps laid out. Now all I need to do is if something is assigned to me, I can just go in here, give it a deadline, assign it to me, and then that next action pops up in my tasks. Again, I have my tasks emailed to me every day, or I just check Asana every day, and then I know which tasks need to be done that day to ultimately get the project done. I know I probably seem like a nerd here, but the reason why I get so excited is because I can have a few different projects going at the same time with deadlines and next actions organized, and then either they're assigning them to me on the day they need to be done, or each day when I do project work, I can just open up the project, see what the next action is, and just do a couple things. I'm never looking for anything. I never forget to do something related to a project. And then we have a system where all the projects can go from current then down to finished. I know that there have been several technical elements to today's video, and it doesn't all have to be about Asana or one specific project management software, but the reason I feel so excited about my paper planner is because I am supported by my digital tools. I know which projects I'm working on, I know that I won't forget really important routines I'm trying to establish, I know that deadlines are going to come to me at the right time, and I'm able to use a calendar with my husband, my family, and my team so that the work that I do in my planner, just a few minutes a day, helps me to focus on really what matters most. And my goal is for you to be able to have your list or whatever it is you're working on so simple that you have plenty of time to be able to breathe, to be present, to relax, and to be able to do the things that are most important to you. So I hope today's video has been helpful. If you want to learn more about projects and routines and how to actually create your next actions and create a system that works for you, we have a free training we will link in the description. But we're so glad you're here. Please explore all the videos that we have here for you. And we're just hoping that you'll be able to create a system that helps you to wake up excited and go to bed content. Okay, see you soon.